Hi, my name is Pernilla, and this is my Challenge Your Norm podcast. I'm absolutely obsessed with anything related to personal development. And well, to grow, we gotta challenge our norm. And so on this podcast, we chat about life and how we can challenge our normal way of living it to make it greater than we could have ever imagined. Just one little belief, habit, bold move, and perspective at a time. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode on my Challenge Your Norm podcast. It's very interesting because I have not recorded a podcast episode for a long time. And today, or the last few weeks or days, I've been writing down different ideas as to podcast episodes I wanted to make. And as I was putting on my makeup to prepare to create some podcast episodes, finally, after a very long time, I start getting a migraine. And I'm thinking that the reason I'm getting this migraine is because I have learned a lesson through getting migraines my entire life, and the progress as to how it affects my life today has changed. And I thought that may be something I needed to share on the podcast episode today, because I think it is what I've learned is something that we can use in so many other areas of our life. Because back when I was 12 is when it started. I started getting these migraine episodes where first I would get blinded, which is what's happening right now. I basically can only see half of the camera that I'm looking into, and the rest is just blurry. And what happens typically is that it starts off as these like little blurry dots, as if you'd like been staring into the sun, and then that kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at one point it is almost like fully blinded, and then it goes away. And when it goes away, then a headache starts. And once the headache starts, you also, oftentimes I've felt this like getting tired a little bit. And back in the day when my migraine attacks would really affect me, I would take a nap. Like, I would need to heal in that way. Where what has happened throughout my migraine journey is that I started at one point telling myself, I'm not going to be affected by this anymore, because back in the day, it would be so devastating. I would be bummed out if I had an exciting day planned and my migraine attack would start popping in. I would start getting these blind spots. I would be so sad, and I would just like cancel the rest of my day, and I would just be annoyed and go back to my house and lay in my bed and just be like bummed out for the rest of the day. But then at one point I made a decision. I'm not going to let this affect my life anymore. From now on, yes, I will get blinded because I don't really know how to stop that from happening. But once the blindness goes away, I'm not even going to give it any attention. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep doing whatever I had planned. Whether that is, some social event, it is working out, I'm not going to let this affect my life anymore. And you can believe this or not, but once I started doing that, my migraine attacks, and the stronger I got at actually believing this new affirmation, this thought when these migraines would pop up, the less these migraine attacks would impact my life. Yesterday was the first time that I got a migraine attack in a very long time. And the reason I think is that I've been traveling a lot, stressing maybe a little bit. I usually get my migraine attacks. This is very different than how other people say that the reason they get their migraine attacks is. But what happens for me is like I'll feel very stressed, and then I will, once the stress releases, I will get very relaxed. And it is once I have gotten to that stage where, oh my gosh, I feel such a release, I feel so relaxed, that's when I'll get it. Like I'll often get it when I'm with my family, or when I'm like it's a Sunday and I'm hanging out with friends, which is what happened yesterday. I had gone to the gym to Gold's Gym in Venice with my gym crush and his friend. And we, after the gym session, which was just such an awesome gym session, and I felt just like so relaxed afterwards, we went to get an acai bowl. And that's when I started feeling this blindness starting to kick in. And once again, I said to myself, I'm not going to let this affect me. I was thinking I maybe would say it to the guys, like, I'm getting a migraine. So if I'm being a little weird or just like not really able to open my eyes, that's why. But once it like really started kicking in was once we'd finished eating our acai bowls and we got back into the car, and I got very blinded, but I was still able to hold the conversation. And I obviously was I probably was just like more quiet in the car, but I was able to have the conversation while just keeping calm within myself. And I could have said it, but I decided not to. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep breathing, keep believing that this is not going to affect me. And once the blindness went away, I never got the headache. And back in the day, the headaches would be so painful. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because right now I had planned on finally, I'd done a ton of work and editing all morning. I woke up at 3 this morning and got so much done. And I had on my to-do list that today was the day that I was going to sit down and do some podcast episodes because I really miss it. I've been missing it, but I have had to prioritize other work tasks, other things in my life. And that's why I've had a bit of a break. It's a conscious decision I've made to take this break because my podcast is something that I value so deeply, but sometimes other things need to be done or put above that on the priority list. And I wish I could do everything all the time, but sometimes we have to prioritize our time. And so it's taken a long break, but it's also built up this like motivation and excitement to get back on these podcast episodes. And so when I right now was feeling so happy with all the progress I'd made this morning with my work and finally like put on makeup so that I could sit down with you guys and do this podcast episode, I got this migraine attack. I'm literally getting more and more blinded as I'm speaking right now. I was like, I really still want to record these podcast episodes. And if it would, like, I don't feel bad right now. If I were feeling bad, like if I needed to lay down in my bed, I totally would. And who knows, maybe in 10 minutes time, once the blindness goes away, maybe I will get a headache. Who knows? But for right now, I'm going to keep on doing the thing that I wanted to do, the thing that I know is going to make me feel really good, really happy, really proud of myself, and the thing that I was very excited about, where back in the day I wouldn't have. And my whole reason, as I mentioned, of sharing this with you is to hopefully give you this little reminder that oftentimes it's not actually the issue that's holding us back from doing the thing that we want to do, from being in the certain mood that we want to be in, the emotions that we want to feel. It is what we put behind it. It is how we allow ourselves to let that obstacle, adversity impact us. Things are going to get in the way of us pursuing our dreams, from us doing the things that we want in our everyday life. But how are we going to allow these obstacles and challenges determine whether or not we go for it, whether or not we feel and keep the good mood, the excitement, the gratitude going for us? It is not what is happening to you right now that is making you feel the way you're feeling. It is the value that you put behind it. It is you allowing that obstacle, those things impact you. And you have a choice right now to make a shift and decide to no longer allow that to impact you. I know that when I'm in the midst of something crazy hard, sometimes I just need a day where I am feeling miserable, where I'm like, you know what, today I'm just going to allow it to impact my mood. I'm going to allow it to affect me. And sometimes when I've had crazy migraine attacks, there's no way that I could just think myself out of it. But sometimes there is a way. And I don't know what you're in the midst of right now, or what maybe hit you off course today or this weekend that impacted your mood in a way that made you feel not very good within, or just got you off track. But is there something that you could tell yourself right now to jump right back on track into feeling the emotions you want to feel, into being the person that you deep down want to do, the person that you deep down want to be and feel, and things that you want to act upon? Are you allowing this thing to affect you to the point where you're actually holding yourself back? Because if you are, I hope that this could be the reminder for you to switch that off, to get back on track, because you deserve that. You always have a choice. We always have a choice. Yes, sometimes life is crazy freaking hard. I'm not saying it is not, because it is. And challenges can feel like just impossible to overcome. But is there a change of perspective that you can make right now inside of your head? I literally cannot even see the lens anymore. I'm like, look, it's right now I am in this, I don't know if you're looking at me, maybe you can even see that my eyes are like squinching together, but it's like as if you've stared at the sun and then like you're blindsided. But within, I actually feel good. I actually feel really happy in this very moment, in the midst of that. It's very interesting. But I know that we've all experienced that in some way, shape, or form, where maybe something external has been happening, but we were able to keep the peace, keep the happiness, the good flow momentum going. And I don't know. I got this migraine attack, and I thought that, okay, well, that's the sign that this is the podcast episode that we're gonna be making today. Thank you so much for listening. If you wouldn't mind writing a review, if you haven't done that yet, send it to a friend who you think could find this episode useful. And remember, as always, in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm.